Hey y'all, this is Crystal. Welcome back. It's that time of the week for me, the weekly reading update. Let's chat about what I got into last week for my reading and all that good stuff. I don't know. Didn't much else happen this week, but kind of a normal week for us, work and school and all that good stuff. But anyway, let's roll right into it. I finished 4 things so far, and that's pretty good. So I dove into another Rilzy Adams little short, steamy story. I don't know, again, just got in the mood for a little palate cleanser, something a little different, and so this one was called 8, and it was short and sexy and fun, just what I was looking for. And basically this woman has hired a personal chef for the night to cook a fancy dinner as a celebration. And the friend that she was supposed to be having dinner with, of course, had to cancel. So she's there by herself with this really dreamy chef, and things go from there. It was cute. It was fun. So I finished that. I finished The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Dalila Harris. This was for the Ladies of Horror Fiction read along. This was actually the April pick, but I didn't quite get to it in April. But I pulled up the audiobook for it, which was really well done. But I don't know. I wasn't all that impressed with this book. I went in thinking I was going to be getting one thing, and it took a long time to get to that thing that I thought was gonna be happening. So basically we're following sort of a young woman who is an editor's assistant at a really big name powerhouse publishing house, and she's the only black girl in the office, though, until the day the other black girl comes in, right? So now there's 2, and so at first, Nella, who's our main character, she's like, all right, there's another, girl here, and they're chit-chatting, they're hitting it off, seeming, all right, she's got someone to kind of bounce feelings off of and all that kind of stuff, but pretty soon, it's like, maybe this other girl, Hazel, has some ulterior motives, and maybe doesn't have Nella's best interests in mind, and, yeah, just kind of went from there. But this was pitched as like a horror kind of thriller story, and it wasn't really all that thrilling until the last literally 10%. It just was very slow paced, and it took a while to really get going, and there were some flashbacks to an author and an editor sort of duo that worked earlier at this company, but they sort of didn't see each other anymore, so that kind of gets interwoven into the present day story. But I don't know, I just didn't really, by the end of it all, I just didn't really care, because it took so long to get to where it was going. Of course there's lots of commentary in there, of course, about race, in the office setting, how publishing is, I'm sure, very white within their hiring. All of that was there, and it was there for us to understand, right? I totally understand that, got that, it was there. But again, this sort of more thrilling horror aspect, it just came in literally right at the end, and I wanted more. I wanted to get this thrilling aspect and then see where it was going more. I needed more of that to be just, I guess, satisfied at the end of this book. I don't know. I was a little underwhelmed with this one. Maybe I just had I had my thoughts in a wrong place about what this was going to be. So I don't know. It was just fine for me. And then, we know that Horror Mayhem has kicked off with week 1 with these supernatural beings, themed week. So I did finish up Palmetto by Anya Albarn, And I really liked this, and it was a nice, short, quick little read, and this was really great. So it's kind of your classic story. We've got a husband and wife who are expecting a new baby, and they are wanting to kind of upgrade to an actual house. I think were living in an apartment, so they're wanting a house, to start their family and all that stuff, right? And so they find the house and all that good stuff. And so once they move in, things aren't quite what they seem, and maybe this house is full of bugs, particularly palmetto bugs, which is just a nice southern way of saying big ass roaches. You know what I'm saying? And so, starts with one, a couple here and there, then there's more exterminators are brought in, and something else is at play here, but I will, of course, not spoil that for you. But honestly, this was really great. I ended up really enjoying this. It was, like I said, short, quick read. It got to where their story was going. Brought in the creepiness, of course, with all these crazy bugs, and then this also a psychological sort of aspect to it. Like, are they really seeing these things or what? It sounded like the husband and wife were not always like agreeing on what was there, kind of thing. So there's a psychological factor to it, and there's a little something else also. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and I've enjoyed a couple things that I've read by Anya Albarn now. So this, I think, is my third book by her. So yeah, I really liked this one. But if you're not into bugs, this will not be the book for you, okay? There are a lot of bugs in this one, okay? So just go ahead and skip it. But if bugs, you can handle it. It's a fun one. It was a good one. So yeah, finished that one up, and it was a fun time. Whoops, got books falling everywhere already. And I finally, just the other night, I finished The True Bastards by Jonathan French. This is book 2 of the Lotlands series that I've been reading with over on Steve Talks Books and stuff, and I need to fill in some chat on that. But anyway, it was a little chunky, so it took me a little while to get through, but I did finally finish it, and I really liked this one too. So in the first one, we're following one character, but in this one, we're following this character who is a lady. It follows this group. They're called the True Bastards, and it's a group of these half orc, half human, mostly half human. Some are half elf, some are. It's complicated. Sort of, band of brothers sort of thing, right? And so in this one, we're following Fetch, who is the lady chief of the True Bastards, and it definitely, we dive more into the world and more into some of the characters, and the story opens up a bit. We get a little intrigue, a little mystery, and yeah, it was great. So I don't want to say too much because it's the second book, of course, but this one had a little more of a seriousness to it than the first one, but it was still just really fun. I think these books are just a fun time, and if you're looking for, again, something kind of fun in between like more serious reads, I think this series is a good one. So I will read the third book sometime this month, and hopefully I hope I'll enjoy that, and this will be a good series for me. So yeah, I enjoyed this. It was fun, and it's got good characters and just really cool world, and interesting things, like I said, elves and centaurs and orcs and half-orcs and halflings and magicians, and I mean, it's pretty cool. So, but it is like it is kind of crude and crass. It's got language and things like that, but it's fun. I liked it. So those are the things I finished. So yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good start to the week, I would say. And then of course I've got my my kind of weekly, my daily reading that I'm doing. I did make a start on Mouthful of Birds by Samantha Schweblin. This is my short story collection for the month, or one of them anyway. And I enjoy Samantha Schweblin's writing, so I'm really liking these stories so far. And she's got just this weirdness to her stories that I love. I love a good weird book, and these stories are definitely a little weird. The most recent one that I read was actually the title story, A Mouthful of Birds. And it's about this girl who just starts to eat birds, and her parents are like, "What's going on? Why aren't we?" So, just a little bit of oddness to these stories that I really enjoy. So, loving that. And I did finally find this on my shelf under Her Skin, which is edited by Lindy Ryan and Tony Miller. A Women in Horror Poetry Collection. This is volume 1. It just came out pretty recently, and so far I'm enjoying these poems as well. And the book itself is just gorgeous. I mean, it even has, really cool illustrations and just, bits and bobs throughout. That just, really adds a little something. Some of the pages are dark, so the text is white on the gray. So yeah, just the book itself is gorgeous, and so far I'm enjoying these poems. A lot of because it's women, poets, and so a lot of talking about, body image, life as a woman, that whole kind of thing. So yeah, enjoying it so far. So yeah, that's been my week. And I did start on audio The Green Mile by Stephen King. This is the Stephen King book, book pick for the month. And I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. The movie is one that I love anyway, so of course I'm familiar with the story. The book is just as fabulous. It's so good. It is such a great book. I'm gonna go grab a book that fell. Okay. So for the week coming up, of course I'm gonna continue on with these throughout the month just until they're finished. I'll finish probably The Green Mile next week. I do want to make a start on I Am Legend by Richard Matheson, which is the Spinebreakers book club pick. That's Brad Proctor's book club. So yeah, I definitely want to get into that. I know it's kind of short. Oops. Yeah, so I Am Legend is actually only this much of this book, because then there are some short stories at the back end of it also. So I want to get into that. And of course let me back up because I forgot a book. I started this one too for the first week of Horror Mayhem, the Supernatural Skin Food by Type A. I'm about halfway through, and it's just like 100 pages, so I'll definitely will finish this very, very soon. And this seems so far to be maybe like a zombie type story. I'll report back later to let you know how this one turns out. So back to what I'm talking about for next week. Okay, so we know it's week 2 for Horror Mayhem, which is Gothic week. I know for sure I'm going to plan on reading Wisteria Cottage by Robert M. Coates. Something like short, little short book. It's about 194 pages. So I'll get into that, and I'm sure I can finish that up. The words are a little bit small, but we'll see. If I have time, I don't know. We'll see if I can get into Melmoth by Sarah Perry. It says short also, but I've got I Am Legend that I'd like to read too, and that kind of stuff. So this is just an if I have time. And then also if I have time, maybe I'll read a Poe story or two. Who knows? I've pulled them out just in case, just in case I want to get some like classic Gothic vibes, So they'll dig into those next week. Hopefully. Let me stack these up for this fall again. Let's see. I did get my book of the month picks. I picked up the Hacienda, which I'm really excited. This is by Isabel Cañas. Is it Cañas? It just sounds amazing. So digging into that. I also picked up The Change by Kirsten Miller, which just sounded really cool. So this woman's husband dies and her twin daughters leave for college. She's left all alone in her white house near the ocean. So she's in her late 40s. The former nurse begins to hear voices. It doesn't take long for her to realize that the voices calling out to her belong to the dead, a gift that she's inherited from her grandmother, which comes with special responsibilities. So, right up my alley. That sounds amazing. And I read a little bit about what the hacienda was about. During the overthrow of the Mexican government, Beatrice's father was executed and her home destroyed. When a handsome Don Rodolfo proposes, Beatrice ignores the rumors surrounding his first wife's sudden demise, choosing instead to seize the security that his estate in the countryside provides. Oh, Beatrice. But the Hacienda San Isidro is not the sanctuary that she imagined. That sounds good, right? Has anyone read that one yet? It just sounds so good. It sounds so good. I picked up some other books, but it's a lot. I probably should just do a haul. My son just slammed the door on me, so I guess we're just going to be over it at this point. So yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Thanks so much for watching. I'm always so appreciative of your time. Let me know what you got into, last week, what you read or what you watched. We finished up Moon Knight. Absolutely loved it. I really loved that series. Anybody else watch it? Let me know. And who is jazzed for Obi-Wan Kenobi? I can't wait. It's right to the end of the month though. Anyway, so that's it. Thanks again for your time. Appreciate you watching. I'll check you later. Bye, friends.